Ooh, I think I hit the mic. That's a great way to start the video. Anyway, so guys, we got to talk about something, and I think it's a video that I've been long. I think I've long come to decide that I wanted to do this video. Like, this is a video that I've wanted to do for a while, but I think what really sparked this whole thing was seeing several comments on, like, I was watching a video of another Godzilla, of like, you know how most people do Godzilla movie reviews, and we all talk about Godzilla 98, and we all love to trash that movie. But then what really got me to really go over the wall with doing this video was seeing one commenter just have, like, not even like as a joke. Like, you can tell sometimes when someone's having a joke or not, but this was some real, like, virile, like, he was talking about how he wanted to, like, find the actors, not like find people who like this movie, drag them out of their homes, and beat them to death in front of their families. I'm like, and like, it's not even like as in a joking way. First off, never joke about that. Yeah, that's never a good thing. Never joke about that, but like, never do that at all. Like, that's not even as a funny thing. Like, this dude was like trying to be serious about it. And I was like, it's a fucking movie, dude. And it's a movie that's been around for over 20 years. It's well past time. And this is what really prompted me to do this, is that it is well past time, people, that we in the Godzilla fandom really need to just move past 98. We just need to move past Godzilla 98. Now, I'm not here to defend the movie. We all know it's a bad movie. We all know it's not a good Godzilla movie. But the general consensus of the fandom itself is that while it's not a good Godzilla movie, it's not a bad monster movie. It just has the unfortunate, the unfortunate lifespan of being known as 98 Godzilla. If this was, I swear to God, if it was called anything else, I think we'd all, like, in another universe, if this was not called Godzilla and called something else, we'd look back at that movie and go, oh yeah, that monster movie was so cool in the 90s. That was a really cool 90s monster movie. That didn't happen. It didn't happen, so we are here now. So, look, the movie's not great, but, I don't spend every waking moment thinking about how bad this Godzilla 98 is. I don't spend that energy on a movie that's well past its time. Like, we have Godzilla 20... We have the Monsterverse now. And yeah, I know there are people who definitely don't like the Monsterverse. But at the same time, I'm like, so you're never happy is what you're saying. Like, yeah, I have problems with the Monsterverse. As much as I like Godzilla vs. Kong, I will openly admit that movie had some major flaws. Looking back at King of the Monsters, which I thoroughly enjoy, I gave nothing but praise for. I still like the movie, but looking back, I can see the flaws. As it stands, if you wanted to ask me, just side note, of what my favorite Monsterverse movie was, it's still Kong Skull Island. I think it's probably the best of that group, as well as probably one of the best Kong movies, barring 33. But yeah, I think it's just high time, because we just can't... Guys, there's so much else out there in the world that has been, like, going on. Like, not just... And I think we've had... And I'm going to speak directly as to kaiju fandom, is that we have so much more now to really just be like, oh yeah, 98 was a thing. We don't need to keep going back to that. And in a way, 98 helped. And let me explain. Again, I'm not trying to defend the movie, but, like, that movie did give us a mini boom of kaiju films in the 90s. Not a lot of them great, I will be real. Gargantua, it did give us Anacondas, kinda. But it did give us a mini boom of kaiju films. Granted, the 90s kaiju film mini boom after post Jurassic Park and Godzilla was not great. But, like, it gave us something. It was like a miniature gift that was around. And furthermore, it did give us the animated series, which I think is what we all wanted from this universe, and that's what basically the animated series was all for. And furthermore, Zilla, ignoring the movie he is from, is not a bad kaiju. I'm not afraid to say it. I wouldn't call Zilla in one of my top 20 kaiju. No, there's no way I'm doing that. But he's an entertaining kaiju. And I'll tell you why. Zilla, in of itself, because it is, I mean, it is a male kaiju, but like it reproduces asexually, so there's been debate among the G fandom that maybe it should go by a they/them pronoun, which I don't know. I'm not smart enough to go into that debate, but I will say that is an interesting conversation I've seen. But Zilla in and of itself is a fascinating kaiju. And the fact that Toho, I mean, yeah, they did bring him back just to spite the 98 film for Final Wars, and I'm referring to, yes, that scene. I don't even think I need to reference what scene I'm talking about for Final Wars. But at the same time, we were given... It's one of those rare times where you see a studio take something else, get the rights to it, and make it their own. And honestly, Zilla's kind of had a mini comeback for a little bit. Zilla was what really, I think, cemented a lot of people like kind of getting over the Zilla hate was the IDW comics. Granted, he didn't show up a lot in there, but when he did, he actually did have an impression in Rulers of Earth. That fight between him and Godzilla was stellar. It was a stellar issue. There's also, of course, the cameos and other appearances Zilla made, and there, like I said, if you can just step away from, that movie, which is not great, but it, but the monster in and of itself, if you didn't call it Godzilla, I think we'd all be liking this monster. And that's what I think the smart thing was with IDW, was that it took Zilla and basically said, yeah, we know that movie's not great, but that monster has some merits. That monster has some serious merits. And yeah, it's getting a little like repetitive, like screaming at the wall. If you really don't like 98. I don't like 98. I've seen it like on streaming sites where I can just watch it for free or not pay for it. I'm like, I still don't want to watch it. Although, to be fair, that opening first act with where they're putting Zilla and like up until the second act, like that first half and like a little bit of Zilla coming to New York is pretty fun. Again, it just has that misfortune of being called Godzilla. It's kind of like, this kind of misplaced hate that's been around for years has more or less, it's kind of like how I view Teen Titans Go, where it's like, yeah, Teen Titans Go is not great, but it's 2021, guys. We need to just move on and accept that Teen Titans Go is just going to be around for a while, and, going around threatening people and, for liking this stuff is just not okay. And to be honest, I will sometimes watch Teen Titans Go. I won't watch it religiously, but I'll watch it especially when it's a crossover episode because, side note, the crossover episodes are pretty fun. It's almost like the animators are like, yeah, we want to do something other than Teen Titans Go too, and I'm going to say something really controversial. I honestly think if I would actually be down for this group, the creative team behind Teen Titans Go, to reboot Freakazoid or do a new Beetlejuice cartoon. Because those two, when they showcased Beetlejuice and Freakazoid in the crossover episodes, it was actually like they legit did their homework and like made those characters fun. So if they come out and say one day, hey, we're going to do a Freakazoid reboot with Teen Titans Go creators or make a new Beetlejuice cartoon, I will be right at the front of the line going, I'm all in. Because like they just seem to get that kind of energy. So, but that's neither here nor there. But the point is, like I was saying earlier, is that it's getting repetitive and it's not helping anyone. All it's really doing is just kind of you're just screaming at the wall or whatever that phrase is. And that movie isn't good. 98 is not a good movie. We all know it's not a good movie. But we just need to move past that. We just need to accept that it was a thing, not a good thing, but we can now see some merit. Like, even now, like, there are G fans out there who are like, yeah, that movie sucked, but hey, animated series, and Zilla works on his own. That's the one thing I think the general consensus is, even if there is some virile hate for Zilla, is that we come to the general consensus that the animated series is good. But yeah, even then, like, I still see, like, comments to this day of people, like seriously, like, going out of their way to wanting to, like, hurt people physically. Oh, because they have, like, some good things to say about anything regarding 98. And it's just kind of getting to the point where it's like, I think we need to just move on. Like, and who knows, maybe Zilla will show up in the next series of Godzilla movies. I'm not saying he will, but there may be a chance, because Toho still owns him. I'm just saying, like, he may show up and sing in either another IDW comic, or he may show up in, like, the next Godzilla movie fighting Godzilla, or appear in Singular Point, like another season of Singular Point or something. I don't know. Anyway, so I know this video is kind of bizarre, but I was just kind of like, are we still talking about this? I was just kind of like, I want to do a video of, like, why are we still talking about this? It was a bad movie, and even, like, yeah, I hate the movie. I really do. There are merits to that movie, and again, if we did not have 98, here's the other thing a lot of people forget, and I forgot to make this point earlier. The one thing we can give 98 above all else is that it gave us Godzilla back. It gave us the Millennium series. If that movie did not shit the bed as hard as it did, we would not have 2000, or Versus Megaguirus, or GMK, or, hell, a restart of this Godzilla fandom. You know, if it was not, you gotta give your hats off to 98, because it failed so spectacularly that it worked. Like, it paved the way for other things. Like, hell, it gave us the Monsterverse later on down the road. It gave us Shin Godzilla. It gave us all of that, all because that movie was so bad. It failed upwards. You gotta give credit to a movie when it fails upwards. Like, it fails, but at the same time it succeeds. So, I don't know. I just wanted to do this video because I was like, it's kind of getting old. It's a little old that the G fandom is still, like, out here, like, really trying to, like, be violent over a movie that's been well over 20 years. Or close to 20 years. Is it over 20? Or I can't math. I can't do math, apparently. I apparently cannot do math. Yeah. I don't know, like, I always get, like, even, like, there's always a part of me that's like, Zilla would be fun. And again, like, I think the big thing that, especially going back to IDW, is that what they did was really differentiate that this monster is not the tuna-eaten weirdo that hides everywhere like we saw in the movie. It's a completely new beast, but it still has a lot of the old tactics. Like, perfect example is when it's fighting, Zilla's fighting Godzilla in Hawaii in that opening story arc for Rulers of Earth, is that it burrows and hides in buildings, but, like, it's not trying to, like, run away from Godzilla. It's trying to surprise him and actually, like, makes, like, sinkholes to fight it, to trip Godzilla up, because he knows he can't fight him in a head-on match. And keep in mind, Godzilla still wins that fight. Like, he's almost about to, like, just murder Zilla, if not the military had gotten in the way. And even at the end, Zilla shows up to help Jet Jaguar rescue the other kaiju at the end of Rulers of Earth. They clearly had more story arc for them, but yeah, sadly that got ended. Anyway, so I'm just kind of rambling at this point, and I just want to do this video because I think it's just kind of getting old, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys out there watching this video are like, yeah, it is getting old. So you guys tell me in the comments below. Yeah, I don't know what to say, honestly. I just kind of, like, just comment below, let me know what you guys think of all this, and I'm not trying to be a jerk to anybody. That's the other thing, is that I'm not trying to be like, you're stupid for being like that. I'm just kind of like, it's not okay to want to hurt someone over a goddamn movie. At the end of the day, it's a goddamn movie. That's the whole crux of this video, was that it's just kind of like, y'all, we're well past 98. We're well past 98. And 98, if it had not failed so spectacularly, then we wouldn't have had a Millennium series, or by and large, the Monsterverse. And, you know, by extension, the Reiwa era of Godzilla. Maybe it could have happened, maybe it wouldn't have happened. That, you know, that's kind of a what-if scenario by the end of it, but yeah. So anyway, no, this is an oddball video, but I was like, I just wanted to talk about it, so... Once again, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.